What's going on, boxing fans and gamers? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fightnightsfinest with another Undisputed video. I'm playing ranked. We got a mirror match of two Sugar Ray Robinsons going on because right now you pretty much need to pick him out welterweight, Canelo or Sugar Ray Leonard, or you're begging to get cooked. I'll probably throw in an example of a Terrence Crawford fighter that I fought, as well as a Sean Porter fighter that I fought, and why the stat difference and the difference in reach is such a big deal, especially in the current state of the game, where players who mash are going to have the most success. Now, I start off this first round boxing, right? I box with everybody, is what I do, right? However, disclaimer, right? If you play against another person who is boxing, you're going to have fun on the game. However, ranked players don't come to box, and even quick fight players don't always come to box. 90% of the player base, I will say, does not box, and this is me saying this after playing against thousands of opponents online since the game has come out. Majority of the players don't know how to box, don't understand how to box, nor does the game teach you to box, and nor does the game reward you for boxing. With the damage changes that have been introduced to the game, you have more success with a simple game plan than you do with a complex game plan. And what do I mean by that? The person who is boxing cannot always consistently get results, while the player who is spamming and mashing will have an easier time getting results and find success more consistently. This is mainly because of how the stamina system works and also how the damage recovery system works, as well as the defensive tools that have either broke with patches or simply been taken out of the game, or how tracking has also messed up a lot of the defensive elements in the game. So for an example, you can't always dodge, slip, or weave punches because punches track you. This is not new information to anybody who's been playing Undisputed consistently. We had Marshall Mine, I'm pretty sure, was the one who suggested the changes for the punch tracking, and ever since that punch tracking changes come, it is made using defensive slips and head movement pretty much impossible. And just for players who like to lean back, they can find success, but any other type or forms of head movement, punches will track you 9 times out of 10. Now, this is also amplified by the fact that a lot of the movement counters that were more prevalent into the game that would allow you to counterpunch the opponent more consistently was taken out of the game, or broke when the directional dodge patch came in, and then it pretty much stopped working as consistently. The new block animations also have not fixed any of those problems. In fact, it actually exacerbated it, because now blocking is not even really a thing that is effective anymore. You may block 100 or 150 punches at max in a 12-round fight, whereas before I could find ways to block 500 to 600 punches. Now, was that blocking system overtuned? Most likely. But even though there is supposed to be a 6-axis blocking, which should probably be a 4-axis blocking system that should be implemented into the game, it has not been introduced to online play, and it's still a thing that has been stuck in offline play. So you cannot consistently defend against most incoming attacks. And if you do try to block, punches will still slip through the guard, because that's just how the game works. Now, this also has been exacerbated by the fact that playing for the counter hit right now is really effective, where you can just sometimes get a counter animation on accident rather than strategically moving, and then those counter hits, as you can see here to my body, is gonna rock you and it's gonna cause critical damage, as it should. However, the way that you get to that counter hit 9 times out of 10 is by accident, or by the fact that punches naturally miss sometimes when you're going for exchanges. So if I throw 2 hooks and the right hook just naturally misses, sometimes it will generate a counterpunch window. And then by you sitting down trying to exchange with the opponent causes you to lose out on the trade. So 9 times out of 10 when you're trading, you're actually putting yourself in big danger, and that's going to be displayed throughout the rest of this fight. Now, the reason why sometimes you can't just sit down and mash your opponent back is because when you're mashing, the player who goes second usually is going to have more success, because the way the damage system works is when there is missing stamina, which usually comes from either taking a body shot or missing a punch. If you're able to capitalize on that with either a counter hit or just landing a normal punch, you're going to do more damage than the opponent who was leading, which is why sometimes back foot fighting is so successful or so strong. And then if you add on top of that you're supposed to do more damage when you're using directional punches, and the best way to get away from shots, because the step system is fucking terrible, for a lack of a better term, or a lack of articulating it better. Let me explain this right here though. See, my stamina's missing, and I mashed his body back when he started mashing mine. Now when I try to sit down on it, look what happens. He also smashes me back by just throwing uppercuts and being close enough to me, and he ends up getting the knockdown. So when I was boxing, I was able to avoid that, but I was also losing 7 to 8% stamina recovery between rounds. So eventually, he was gonna end up making me gas before he was gas. And if I'm not able to catch him first, then I'm just gonna end up losing the fight. Of course, I make the adjustment by doing what I was talking about previously, which was using the back directional punches after he missed shots and he was walking in order to tag him and do damage while still kind of boxing. However, as you can see here, the health regeneration being as low as it is, the opponent can now execute his simple attack, or he can just target the body with hooks or body uppercuts by just walking to me, and I pretty much can never recover as long as he is able to cut the ring off effectively and keep hitting my body. Now this is going to be more prevalent against fighters who have shorter reaches, because if you try to get onto the inside, take for an example, I had a fight with Jorge Linares against Sugar Ray Robinson, and I'll probably put a clip of that in here now. But pretty much what you guys are going to see with that clip was, if I tried to get close to my opponent, I have to jab my way in, and then he could just use back directional punches while my one shot is getting off. And due to the difference in not only hand speed, but also the difference in reach, he's going to be able to attack me 3 times before I can even attack him back once, and I'm going to end up taking critical damage. So the way the damage system works, the way the stamina system works, and the fact that there's a lack of defensive options makes it so that you cannot box successfully on the game. And even if you do box successfully, if a player simply throws more punches than you, the judges are going to favor him. So back when the judges scorecards used to reward you for counter hits and effective power shots, that got nerfed and taken out of the game because the developers listened to the community, who felt that they should be able to win matches because they felt the judges scorecards were too skewed towards counter punches and power shots, even though that's the way that it works in real life. So the player who's just simply walking in throwing more punches gets more success when you're effectively placing your punches by just simply walking up to you and throwing. So it's not a game where it's favored towards players who like to box. And 9 times out of 10, like I said, your defensive options between your blocking, your slipping, and your movement has all been taken away, and you know it's not even as effective as it used to be. I'm not sure if I mentioned this as well, but also catch and shoot pretty much doesn't even work anymore, even though it was in the game and was intended. So how do you find success? It's pretty much the same reason as to why spammers on Fight Night Champion used to find success. And why a lot of players who even spam nowadays don't even realize that they are spamming, or they say it's subjective, even though it's very obvious to players who actually box. Because when you spam and you do it sparingly or tactically, as they would like to call it, I'm just utilizing a better game plan and you can't defend it. which is the tried and true trope that has been around for over the past decade, is if you can't stop it, even though there's a lack of defensive options to allow you to stop it, you just need to get good. So what would happen is, for an example, in Fight Night Champion, if you had a player who will spam backstep straight, not backstep straight, but power straights and sidestep uppercuts, and knew how to generate those situations consistently. Basically, I walk to you in the center of the ring and I step down 2 times, and then I throw my right uppercut. I'm probably going to generate a counter window if you attempted any type of action. Now it's the same thing here. As long as I get close to you and I hit you to the body, even if it's tactically, I know eventually I'm going to have success. And the fact that I do it consistently, I'm probably going to have success. So because they do it sparingly now, whereas I may throw 2 uppercuts and then move away and try to walk you down, then they say, well, I'm not really cheesing, even though that I really am. So in order to have success now in ranked, all you have to do really is just leave the match. And if you leave the match, guess what? He's going to take the win, even though he got knocked out and he knew he couldn't get up from the minigame. He's also going to take the win and not avoid the L. So that's the current state of ranked, and I hope this explains the mechanics for you guys so that you have a better understanding of what you're encountering when you go into your ranked matches. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.